You would be hard-pressed to find someone out there who doesn't think, or at least doesn't want, aliens to be real. With the vastness of space and the countless number of planets in the universe, it can be hard to settle on the idea that we're the only intelligent life around. For decades there have been sightings of extraterrestrials, paranormal activity, and unidentified flying objects. Strangely, militaries and governments are never too far away from some of the biggest examples. This leads some to suspect there could be more than meets the eye. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at these strange connections between UFOs and the military. Sheffield Incident UFO. Yorkshire in England isn't known for its abundance of UFO sightings. But in 1997, on the 24th of March, local police received dozens of calls saying that some sort of aircraft had crashed in the region's lonely moors. The calls mentioned a low-flying plane or aircraft that passed overhead towards the hills and mountains before disappearing. This was then followed by a bright flash and an explosion that could be heard for miles around. With reports of a crashed air vehicle, the police immediately began a search and rescue mission. A police officer, along with the fire service and mountain rescue, searched the area far and wide for any sign of the downed aircraft. Similarly, a local hospital was given notice of potential casualties. Soon after, air traffic control and the RAF were sent news of the crash by police. Strangely, each of the organisations reported that they had no missing aircrafts. They also noted that no military vehicles were currently flying in the area. This then led to the use of an RAF Sea King helicopter to assist the police in their search. And yet, after covering 40 square miles with dozens of professionals and high-grade equipment, nothing was found. In response to the lack of any physical debris, the police launched a phone line for reports of a crash site. Almost immediately, the phone line was filled with callers claiming to have seen military jets, as well as some kind of UFO. With so many people reporting similar sightings, the police were forced to increase the scope of their previous search. They enlisted even more members of mountain rescue. Similarly, the RAF cordoned off a 10-mile air exclusion zone around Howden Reservoir. Despite these efforts, nothing was ever recovered and the search was eventually called off. Yorkshire police were left confused by the lack of evidence and were unsure of how to proceed. Some members of the police considered the possibility of a drug drop by plane. Others in the public claimed the sighting was the cause of a phantom ghost plane. Later in 1997, a police representative said, "No explanation was ever found, and we remain open-minded about what was behind the sightings." In the years following, many theories have been posited in order to uncover what truly happened over Sheffield that day. Some claim a conspiracy to cover up actions taken by the military, who were in pursuit of a UFO. The crash, as the theory goes, was caused by a military jet. Since the RAF's exclusion zone was put around the Howden Reservoir, this has led some to believe the plane crashed into the water, and bodies may have been retrieved during the search. Interestingly, the event was mentioned in the House of Commons on the 23rd of March 1998. The then Ministry of Defence stated there had been a low-flying military exercise taking place in that area on the 24th of March. Scientists also support this, as the seismology department in Edinburgh confirmed that on the 24th of March, 2 sonic booms took place, at the times of 9:52 and 10:06. According to the department, these booms were likely to have been caused by an aircraft travelling at supersonic speeds or space debris burning up in the atmosphere. Still, the RAF refute any involvement in the events described by onlookers, specifically because it would be illegal to break the sound barrier over UK land. Likewise, they state that their exclusion zone was not out of the ordinary for routine searches. They stated they had no record of sonic booms by RAF/NATO aircrafts on the night in question. The facts all just don't seem to add up in this case. The peculiar event that took place still perplexes many UFO enthusiasts to this day. What exactly did crash near Sheffield in 1997? US military jet had encounter with silver UFO the size of a suitcase. In May of 2020, the US military released videos via the Pentagon showing a strange object flying in the air. Quickly, news spread around the internet of the odd footage that depicted an object the size of a suitcase soaring through the sky. The news originated from hazard reports made by the Navy Safety Center. This details an incident where an aircraft pilot comes into contact with a UFO. It was described as approximately the size of a suitcase and silver in colour. According to the report, in March 2014, a jet owned by the US Navy flew within 1,000 feet of a UFO, but was unable to identify it. It goes on to explain that the pilot attempted to regain visual contact with the aircraft, but was unable. Accompanied with the report is photographic evidence of the eerie sighting. In one of the videos, viewers can see a dark sphere hovering in front of a military aircraft. Another video shows a similar object moving at an incredible speed over land. The third and final shows another strange object moving at a similarly impossible speed before abruptly slowing down. Voices of pilots can be heard in the video, with one saying, "There's a whole fleet of them." A second voice goes on to say, "They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots to the west. Look at that thing." UFO investigators had already known about the videos for some time, but the recent news marks the first time in which they've been acknowledged in any official capacity. The reports discussing the event categorise the mysterious aircrafts as drones, or what is known as unmanned aerial systems. Several other incidents have been categorised in this manner. The report says that it was only a matter of time before there could be a mid-air collision between an unknown aircraft and a military one, specifically saying that they pose a greater mid-air risk than a manned aircraft. Nick Pope, who once investigated UFO incidents for the Ministry of Defence, said this of the footage. "Assuming we're not dealing with a combination of pilot misperception and forward-looking infrared camera anomalies, which is unlikely, as a lot of this was captured on radar too, there are very few options." Japan orders military pilots to report UFO sightings. Most of the time, military agencies tend to deny the existence of UFOs altogether, but not in the case of Japan. The island self-defense forces were given new directives in 2020, and new measures for when they come into contact with unidentified flying objects. In the name of national security, Japan's actions seem to point towards an admission of UFO activity around Asia. The former Defense Minister, Taro Kono, spoke during a press conference in September 2020. Kono explained that military personnel are required to make video recordings of any unexplainable activity they encounter, and the footage will be examined rigorously. The military has also been ordered to investigate sightings that are reported by members of the public as well. Strangely, the press conference was one of his last public actions as defense minister before Japan's government reshuffled in the middle of September. This comes as an extra surprise, when Kono had previously shown skepticism around aliens and UFO activity, saying in April of the same year, "Frankly speaking, I don't believe in UFOs." Following statements made by the Japanese Defense Ministry, there are no instances where the Self-Defense Force personnel have recorded UFO activity. Yet Greg Sullivan, the director of the Japan Center for Extra-Terrestrial Intelligence, said the Defense Ministry are claiming ignorance on purpose. According to Greg Sullivan, there are at least 6 supposed incidents between pilots and UFOs on record. These 6 have all been reported to the government, according to Sullivan. To add more fuel to the fire, Japan's government bringing up the idea of aliens is nothing new. In late 2009, Yukio Hatayama, former Prime Minister, and his wife, Miyuki Hatayama, said that she had an extraterrestrial experience 20 years before. Of the incident, she said, "While my body was asleep, I think my soul rode on a triangular-shaped UFO and went to Venus. It was a really beautiful place. It was really green." According to sources, her Prime Minister husband said to her that it was most likely just a dream. So what do you make of these mysterious connections between UFOs and the military? Do you believe in UFOs and extraterrestrial life? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community, whilst working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.